Hey guys, it is Brido here, and welcome back to our Liverpool Career Mode series. This is episode 15, and today's episode we have 3 games for you guys once again, but all 3 games are going to be Liverpool this time around. With the schedule being the way it is, we have a bunch of games crumpled together, so we're actually not moving that far ahead in the actual calendar, but we are playing 3 games, starting off 1 against West Brom, then moving on to 2 away games against Arsenal and Manchester City. So definitely a tough episode for us to take on, but we're still going to hopefully get as many points out of it as possible. And that's all going to be leading up to our game against Chelsea, which will be in the next episode for you guys. But until then, we're going to play through these ones, see what happens, and hopefully keep our standing in the league pretty high, because we're doing quite well right now. We want to keep that rolling. The goal for us obviously is to make the Champions League, but we are sitting in a little bit of a position that, if we push hard enough, we might be able to win the league, and I think that is a bit of a shot for us at this time. But hey, we're in the running right now, so we got to think that way, and we got to think positive about it too. So if these games coming in, we're gonna get into the stretch run here, where you really have to win as many as possible. So against West Brom here, we start quite a strong squad. I wasn't really gonna give any of our younger guys a break, because all of our older guys were really ready to go. They hadn't played in weeks because of the international break, so they got the opportunity to play here. And one of our older players, Steven Gerrard, right there, gets a nice goal for us at the 10-minute mark. He's able to work his way around the West Brom defender and put that one in over the goalkeeper. A nice one for us there, and really the beginning of this game was very much in our favor, minus that first chance for West Brom. We controlled most of the play, had most of the better shots. Foster was doing quite good in net, but in the end we were doing pretty good, and I was feeling pretty comfortable at this time. But with that said, though, I just want to talk a little bit about the schedule heading up here. The interesting thing was that we actually had a game against Arsenal planned before the transfer window. For whatever reason, that got cancelled, and we're going to be playing them now later on. Same thing with Manchester City. That game got cancelled and moved back. So before going to Wembley and playing Chelsea, we have, I believe, 3 games within a week, and it's going to be a tight schedule. Like I said, also playing tough teams away from home. So if you guys see in this episode me starting a weaker lineup against these guys, I am putting the emphasis on the Chelsea game. I really do want to win the League Cup once again. I'm also trying to obviously do as well as we can in our games, because they're quite important. Like I was saying, we really do want to get as many points as possible, because our goal is to get into Champions League, but we are kicking around in those spots, so we could even potentially shoot for the league title by the end of the season. As crazy it is, we have the opportunity to do so possibly. So we want to win the games, but at the same time, I started after this game rotating the roster a little bit, because this one was a little bit ahead of the Arsenal game. So I gave our players an opportunity to play in this one, then they could be fully rested for the Arsenal game. But then that was kind of the start of the 3 games in a row. But here you can see that the start of the second half goes, and we get a really bad play there. I thought he was going to use his feet, but he actually used his head. Sacco tries to pass it off with his head there, and Odemwingie is able to pull out that ball, take a shot, and luckily it hits the side of the post there. Nothing going into our net at this point. There you can see Lewandowski actually gets a nice opportunity at around the 55-minute mark there. A good one for him, and that actually went top corner too. It almost went in as close to the bar as possible, but unfortunately for us, it did not go in. It just curled off the bar and out of play. But like I said, the first half was quite heavily in our favor, and the second half was continuing this type of fashion. We were getting good opportunities. The game was going in our favor, and overall I was feeling pretty confident. West Brom were sitting at the bottom of the table at this point. The only problem that we started to have, though, as this game wound down, is that we were really not capitalizing on our chances, which is never a good thing, leaving the opportunity for West Brom to try and get a chance. But the game continued to really, slow down. We started switching off some of our better players in hopes of, resting them as much as we can. Like I said, busy schedule coming up, so we want to be prepared for that. At the 90th minute, though, they get an opportunity here, probably the best chance of the game. Kind of a zany chance. The ball's flying around. Another chance here, blocked off, but then it gets one more to Morrison, who's able to put that one away past Leno. In the 90th minute, they get a goal for themselves. I was a little disappointed with this, because we gave up a goal similar in our Arsenal game. We were up 2-0 in that game, and it ended up being a 2-1 game. I would have liked the clean sheet for Leno. I get a little bit selfish at this point, and you can see we dearly pay for it. Not protecting the ball, letting them get in one more opportunity late on this game, and they do score again. Zoltan Guerra scores the goal, and the game is now tied 2-2. 2 goals in the 90th minute, probably the worst sequence of play that I've had in this game of FIFA 13 thus far. We do get one more opportunity for ourselves to see if we can get something to happen here. As Joel Allen passes over to Delafeu, who finds Fabio Barini. He puts one away as well, so 3 goals in the 90th minute. But this one's for us at least, and we do get the win out of this one. And that was a crazy, that was all in the 90th minute. That was less than 2 minutes of actual game time at 6 minutes, so it was just bang, 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 bang. Lots of goals, crazy chances, and like I said, disappointed in myself that I gave up those opportunities, but at least we still get the win, which is important because we want those 3 points. And a lesson learned at least that, it's always nice to have the clean sheet. It's always nice to get as many goals as possible, but if you have the lead still, if it's late in the game, you don't need to risk anything. You don't need to go crazy on it, and that's what I did there, hopefully. Trying to find another goal that really went and fired back against us there as they got the game potentially tied, and I only because I was able to get a nice little rush up there in less than a minute I was able to get the game tied, but really that was a bunch of luck for us to even get 3 points out of the game after that poor display at the end. Moving on though, we had our game against Arsenal coming up. We obviously played them quite a bit this season. We had our one league game against them where it was a 2-2 draw at Anfield. If you guys remember, we had the 2-1 lead going late, but then we gave up the penalty and Podolski scored. So an interesting storyline there, and then we obviously played them 2 more times in our semifinal 2-leg matchup. We did beat them with the 0-0 draw to start off with, and then we won 2-1 at Anfield. So quite a bit of history this season already with Arsenal, and this will be likely the last matchup that we have against them for this season. So an interesting one for us, but obviously, like I said, because we have quite a few games in succession here, we had to go for a little bit more of a weaker lineup, but that wasn't saying that much. As you can see, Suarez is still starting up front. Then we got Ethiad on the wing, and Raheem Sterling playing a game. He hasn't played as many as of late. And then we got Steven Gerrard starting in the middle, Lucas Leiva and Joe Allen, and pretty much our back end as well. Pretty normal, minus the fact that we also have Martin Skrull getting a start, minus Sakho there. So a couple changes, but there wasn't that great of a change overall. We're giving them the start in this game, most of our better players to start in this game, so that when we moved on to our Manchester City game, which was obviously closer to the Chelsea game, we could give more of our younger players a start in that one and give the older guys a rest so they were more ready for the game against Chelsea coming up after that. So you can see from the start of this game that it wasn't going the best to start off with. Podolski took a long shot there, and it was kind of one that I was expecting Leno to save, but he did, give a good chance, and it was a pretty good shot from Podolski there, and he puts another one up against us. Here in the 32nd minute, though, another opportunity just goes wide at this point, so they were getting some good ones there. We were trying to counteract that, trying to play our own game, get our own opportunities, but they weren't as great as the chances that Arsenal were getting. And here in the 36th minute, they capitalize once again, moving the ball around. Podolski takes the shot off here, and that one, didn't feel too good about that one either, as that goes off Leno's hands and into the back of the net. So 2 goals that were, good goals by Podolski, but at the same time, too, it didn't feel extremely warranted. We were playing quite good in this game, even though they did have more of the chances overall. But as the game continued, they continued to get more and more opportunities, and this one was definitely one to forget overall, as the game was 2-0 at this point. We, like I said, did get a couple good chances to start off the half there, but overall it was, in their favor. They got the more shots, and also they had more of the possession as well. Moving into the second half, we did make a quick change here. We brought on Lewandowski, trying to give ourselves a little bit more of a chance in this one, bringing off Raheem Sterling. We did, have the room to bring someone like him on and bring Suarez off later on. Essentially, the goal was to keep them rested, and personally, I thought, if we brought Lewandowski on for 45 minutes, if he could change the play for us, that would definitely be worth it, rather than just keeping him on the bench. So we did that, but the first couple of minutes of the half were still largely in the favor of Arsenal. But the good part, though, is Leno actually made some great saves here in the early parts of the game. This game could have gone a lot worse early on here. Another chance comes for Kurzola here, gets a nice ball, takes a shot once again. Leno with another save there, though. A couple of iffy goals early on in this game, but making his worth later on. We in the 55th minute, though, get an opportunity here. Suarez and Lewandowski linking up in ways as Lewandowski takes the shot. Rebound goes to Suarez, and that's a real tight one for him to put away, but he's able to just get that one past Szczesny. So we're able to be back in this game at this point, but almost immediately the door is once shut once more by Podolski. 3 goals for him in the game, and right after we get back in this one, it's a 1-goal game. It's now a 2-goal game once again. I thought we could get one more chance here from Allen at the 63rd minute mark, so once again, almost immediately, we almost got our own opportunity there, but it wasn't to be. And there's another chance for Asadi, trying to get one to go for us again, but he wasn't able to put that one away either. So as this game wound down, you could kind of see that the score was pretty much written on the board. It was a 3-1 win for Arsenal at this point. They did try and get another goal. Leno played quite solid in the last half of this game, and he did, like I said, keep us from being a lot worse in this one. But in the end, though, we weren't able to capitalize on our one goal and continue the push forward. We did get a couple more chances similar to this one from Barini, but they were chances that Szczesny was able to handle quite easily. And here the game ends, like I said, with a 3-1 win for Arsenal. So a loss for us, a little bit disappointing, but at the same time too, we're expecting the fact that obviously we're playing Arsenal and Manchester City in this game or in this episode, and we want to win, we want to draw as best we can, but I wasn't extremely disappointed by the loss, even though we did drop points in this one. To finish up this episode, though, we still have one more game to play, and that was against Manchester City. And that was probably the hardest one of the three that we had, and unfortunately for us as well, it would be the weakest starting 11 that we'd also be able to start because of the fact that it was only 2 days before our matchup against Chelsea in the League Cup final. So with this one, it was a little bit of a similar fate that we're kind of looking at. We thought, okay, Arsenal, hopefully we can get some points from that, and I was almost going to concede the fact that it'd be, maybe we would drop points at the Ethiad because it's a tough place to play, and they're a very good team to play against, but going into this one, though, we still had hopes of trying to pick up points, but we did start a younger side overall. We gave guys like Deulofeu, Sterling a chance up front. We gave Lewandowski the start in the striking role, trying to still keep the goals coming for us, but at the same time, too, the midfield was a little bit more inexperienced. We also had Cortez with Skirtle playing on the back, so overall there was still experience ladled throughout the squad, but there was also some younger players put in there as well, just to give the other guys a rest and give ourselves an opportunity to have as fresh a squad as possible for our game in the next couple of days. Regarding Chelsea and the next episode as well, I also wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing episode 16 a little bit different. For any big games that we have, I'm going to try and do this if you guys like the format of what it was. And that's going to be me doing a live commentary. It's not going to be live gameplay, but what I'm going to do for episode 16, it's going to be the whole game, unedited. You guys are going to see everything. And also, I'm just going to put the mic in front of me while I'm playing so you can get all the highs and lows of the experience that I'm going to have while playing it. So it'll definitely be something a little bit different because we all have been doing this way for about 15 episodes or so now. So you guys are used to the norm. But I think it might be something cool to do, and at the same time as well, you guys can kind of see me in a more of a full game, also a very important game. And if it goes well, then you guys can see the happy emotions that I'll be portraying, and if it goes bad, you can guys probably hear me swearing and being overall extremely depressed by the end of it. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes exactly. But going back to this game here, you can see that it's a pretty good start for us because we get the early goal from Lewandowski there, who's actually been playing very well. He's been getting plenty of goals for us. Really happy with it because, like I said, when we signed him, he was a situation I used him quite a bit when I played with Borussia Dortmund online. It's one of my favorite teams to play with, and it was funny for me because I was like, okay, I know this player quite well, but sometimes when you play with a full team, you can get the feeling of what they're like kind of masked within the squad. You might think that you really like a player, but you might just like how he gets distributed from a different player. So it can always not be. It's not always very clear if you're going to enjoy having someone in your squad because all the squads are different as well. It's just it's a guess sometimes. Sometimes it's easy to get them right, and other times it's a little bit harder. And throwing as much money as we did around for bringing in to Liverpool, it was definitely something that I was hoping would go well. And, in that Norwich game that we started up with, he had those 2 goals. And ever since then, he's been clicking at a pretty good pace. So it's happy to see that he's still doing quite well. Suarez has dropped off a little bit, but that's just because he hasn't been playing the main striker role. He's still been doing a great job, and I'm, overall very happy with how both of them have been playing. But going back to this game as well, what I really tried to do in this one is we got that early lead, which I was extremely happy with, but I tried to play the best defense I could after that point because I realized, okay, we're in a position here at the Etihad that we have the lead. We don't need to squander this. We don't need to give this away. And you can see right there, this is probably the most frustrating moment of the game. Everybody's up in a pile-up right there. I was like, no, if this goes in the net, I'm going to freak out. Luckily, he just shot it wide. But going back to that, I tried to play the best defense that I could. I really wanted to just keep it simple. When we had the ball, I controlled it as best as I could and also, tried to keep the game at a slow pace, didn't try to escalate anything because we didn't need to because we had the lead. So the great part about this one is we actually picked up the 3 points against Manchester City, which was fantastic because I was saying that, I was thinking more Arsenal would be the easier game to win between the two, and, we lost that game. So getting the 3 points and the 6 points out of 9 these 3 games was great. But with that said, though, guys, that is the end of the episode. I will leave you with the standings so you guys can see where we're at. We're actually doing quite good at this point. But yeah, stay tuned for the next episode, which will be up tomorrow. Obviously a little bit different, but you guys can hear the live commentary of me playing against Chelsea, and hopefully we repeat as League Cup champions. Thanks, guys, for watching.
In 5th, Arsenal with 53 points. In 6th, Tottenham Hotspur with 51 points, with a game in hand on the team above. In 7th, Newcastle United with 43 points. In 8th, Aston Villa with 40 points, with a game in hand on the team above. Bottom of the table, West Bromwich Albion with 10 points. And then reading up the table, second bottom, Southampton with 12 points, but only behind on goal difference. Third bottom, Reading with 12 points. Fourth bottom, Norwich City with 13 points, with a game in hand on the team above. Fifth bottom, Stoke City with 23 points.